Hi everybody, Daniel Gray back at ya, live from Crestone, Colorado. Well, actually we're recording this, so we're just getting ready to get underway here. How's everybody doing? Rather overcast here in Colorado. Predictions of rain, flooding in Colorado. A lot going on. Alright, I gotta get on to Blog Talk Radio and we'll get on with the program. How's that sound? I'm using a Zynga kind of hookup to get into Blog Talk. And it shows that they're waiting for me. But we're about ready to get underway. Alright, there ought to be a little message here from the guy that runs Blog Talk. Next, come on, we gotta get going here. They want feedback, Zynga. Great. You guys are great. Next, I love you guys. Better, you're better than... Okay, here we go. Come on, what's going on? You are not connected. Oh, wait a minute. There's a problem. Okay, hang on a second here. Continue. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can get on the air here with Blog Talk Radio. A lot of stuff going on here at the Trailer Park Prophet. A lot of stuff I don't think I know what's going on. Okay, let's try again with the Zynga. That's funny, man. They want me to do this survey and I just had problems with their hookup. You know, I mean, they're just trying to do a good job, trying to get some customer feedback. Call connected. Alright, I'm not getting the... What's going on here?
To start your show now...
Oh, here we go.
To hear important news, press 2. To speak to service, press 3.
Alright, I just touched number uno there. Head of Blog Talk, voice of Blog Talk. It says I'm just...
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Alright, hang on everybody. Alright, hey, I'm on. Totally cool. Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Daniel Gray. I'm the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio from beautiful downtown overcast Crestone, Colorado, right next to the Santa de Cristos. Beautiful place, 90% of rain. Colorado right now is covered in clouds. Warnings about flash flooding all over the mountains of Colorado. But that doesn't matter. We're here talking to you live. Hump Day with the Prophet. Hi everybody. How you doing? Alright, I want to make sure I got everything going alright here. Everything looks going good. I think everything's cool. Did I send out Oh yeah, I gotta send out an advance. A little broadcasting live on the air advance. Goes out all through the Blog Talk Radio hemisphere. Alright. How's everybody doing? Yeah, let's see. A lot of people that I know on Facebook are saying that it's overcast, they're getting rain, a lot of weather going on around the country. I haven't actually looked. Oh, I actually looked at the weather map. I wonder what the weather is around the country. Let's go ahead and look at that right now. I don't know why. I'm not usually a weather kind of guy. Weather in USA. I know it's really popular. I mean, people must love to get their weather from a third party, but gosh, I mean, now that there's the internet and smartphones, you don't need to go to the talking heads and ask them what the weather is. I mean, it's right there at your fingertips. All right, so I was looking for forecasts. Oh, here we go. Here's a severe weather forecast. Now, this is the first for the Trailer Park Prophet. actually have a weather report, but I decided right on the spur of the moment, because this is citizen journalism, that we can basically do whatever we want. I don't know why all of a sudden I was interested in what's going on in the weather. Now, there's a lot of weather above Denver, a lot of weather around Dallas, or north of Dallas, in Oklahoma. Oh, let's see if I can move this stupid thing. And then,
This video was sponsored by Travelers Insurance.
Wichita. Let's see, how does this thing work? Alright, this probably isn't very good radio. I can't get the damn map to work. Alright, well, anyways, I'm looking at the forecast here for Colorado, and all over Colorado there's a chance of weather. Alright, well, that's our foray into weather here at the Trailer Park Prophet Show. Oh, by the way, if you want to call into the program, it's 646-716-8506. Again, that's 646-716-8506. And I want to go back to the agenda on Monday. And I forgot to mention a few things, and some of you called in and said, hey, you forgot to write about something, or you forgot to talk about something. And I wanted to go back and talk about one thing. I've been listening to Bill Bennett. You can get him on the internet. He's a talking head, conservative. You might remember he was in the Reagan administration as the education czar, and then I think he was the drug czar for a while back during the 80s. And he has a doctorate of something, and he obviously has this radio show. And he's just good. I like the way he conducts himself. I like the tone of his voice. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't talk fast. I don't feel like he feels like he has to provide animation to make what he has to say interesting. He has another, two guys in the studio with them. They have guests. But I like him. He's very relaxing, and I mention this because I think you would like him too, and of course you can get him anywhere on the internet. And he was talking yesterday about failure to understand what America is. And that sounds like a easy enough topic, but it's something I felt meant mentioning today on the Trailer Park Prophet Show, and that is that a lot of our children, most of our children, all of our children in public school have been lied to by omission. And they fail to understand what America really is. And so do the teachers, so do the professors, so do the principals, so do all the union staff at all of our public schools for the most part too. They don't have an understanding about history in the world, and they don't understand that America is that shining city on the hill, that what we're trying here, this representative democracy, this constitutional republic, this notion of rule of law, it is really quite stunning. And we really are making history. Because never before has there actually been a constitution put together quite like ours. I mean, we really are cutting edge. But most people in America have this view of these old colonial types wearing these button-down shirts and wearing powdered wigs and having wooden teeth, and they're made out to be by the lamestream media and the progressive socialist statist movement is rather backward people. Plus they were all white men, they all owned slaves. The narrative goes on and on and on. You know the narrative. But there's a failure to understand what America is by design. It's inherent in our government status, progressive, socialist, one-size-fits-all, big box, union-run school industry monopoly. And it's all those things. When you think about it, I mean, our education system is monolithic. It really is one size fits all. It's compulsory. You have to go to school. And if you want to be homeschooled, you're going to continually be harassed by the education government monopoly in your area. But they've done a lot to confuse the minds of the American people. They've pushed a lot of people on the sidelines, away from the public square, muted them, neutered them. They chill debate. They chill anyone who questions authority. You know, it's interesting, the hippies of the 60s were saying don't trust anybody over 30, question authority. And now they're in authority, and now they question anybody that questions authority. So that's a 180-degree turn in the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And it's been happening at a rather regular rate. And I'm telling you, I know I bring this up, but it's so true, that whole idea with the open school concept that was introduced in America in the 60s and 70s, where there was no walls between the classrooms. You could hear what was going on in the classroom next to you. I swear to God, that's part of where we are today. And that is, if parents and kids will take this kind of nonsense from the government, then they're going to take any kind of nonsense in the future. It was like the open room concept was a conditioning process, so that anyone that spoke out against the concept as being stupid, they would be isolated, they'd be interrogated, they'd be gone over with the fine-tooth comb. They'd bring in the school psychologist, and they'd bring over another expert from another school district, and those parents would be scrutinized, possibly ostracized. Their kids would be subject to ridicule and maybe get their grades lowered, or they'd be under more scrutiny. But you come forward to today and you look at who's in the White House: Barack Hussein Obama, a.k.a. Barry Soetoro, and he continues to violate our Constitution, which our founding fathers over 200 years ago warned us about. We were warned about men getting into power. The old saying, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely, that comes from 2,000 years ago. That's why I keep emphasizing to you that there is no new idea in politics. None whatsoever. It's very easy to understand what's going on here. And that's why I get into the importance of understanding that the right-left paradigm is very real, and why Sal Alinsky attacked that in his writings and classes and his activities in politics and community organizing across the USA. You want to destroy that notion that there's a right-left paradigm in politics, and the reason you want to do that is because you want to be able to have people to be basically unable to be objective about any political story or any political activity or inactivity. As an example, people today are just numb with scandal after scandal coming out of the Obama administration. And enough of them, they don't understand America. They don't understand our system. They don't understand that they have a duty and a responsibility as a free person to know the issues, to know the political actors, and to weigh in on them. Contact your legislators. Contact your local officials. And more, and there again, here pops up, all politics is local. If you don't tamp down progressive socialist status in your own community, then then they leave your community and go lead in your county. And then eventually could lead in your state and then wind up in Washington, D.C. And you can see the problem we have in Washington, D.C. We have these career politicians. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And like Martin Luther King said, if you stand on the sidelines and remain silent, you're part of the problem. All right. So failure to understand what America is. And you hear that all the time. I mean, there's always these people out there that want to blame America first. They think somehow that we have original sin for the way that we dealt with the Native Americans. You know, they think of groups as monolithic groups, and then they assign an ideology and a narrative to them. That's what they do with Native Americans, blacks, women, gays, Latinos. And they want you to think that these various groups, these various special interest groups, are of one mind. They have solidarity in their thinking, and they don't. And that's a big part of what we have to do here at the Trailer Park Prophet, is give you kind of an idea that what you're hearing from the media is bunk, is psychological warfare. So anyway, the failure to understand America, and really, I know I mentioned this before, but it's so true. We have turned into a zombie nation. A lot of these kids that come out of that one-size-fits-all government-run monopoly school industry we have, they're basically zombies. They are zombies. It's so weird. You know, they have their little handheld device and walking down the street like they're pre-programmed or something. They're like a zombie. I mean, alright, it's just ironic. Oh, and here, I meant to mention this yesterday, and this, or rather on Monday, on Monday, a poll that came out recently that said, and I mentioned this, I believe, on Friday, that if the election were held today for president and Mitt Romney and Barack Obama were running again, 53% say that they would vote for Mitt Romney and 44% say they'd vote for Obama. Now that's a stunning turnaround. And then also in that same poll, this was done by CNN, I believe, or ABC, one of the big guys. It's not some rinky-dink poll, but they polled the electorate back in 2012, and 84% said Obama cares about me, and 46%, I don't know how it could be, 81% of the people said that Obama cared about them, and then 20% or whatever, 10% said that Mitt Romney really cared about them. You know, but 81% back in 2012 said that Obama really cared about them. Well, today, you know what that number is? The number of people that think Obama really cares about them? It's dropped to 46%. So that's another stunning turnaround. Alright, I wanted to make sure I got into that. Okay, we did that. Alright, my dog is out there barking. Alright, you're listening to Daniel Gray. I am the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio from beautiful downtown Crestone, Colorado. And I got a new function here I want to do with my show. I want to be able to record on MP3. I want to try to get myself on a few more platforms, get out, reach a few more people. Always trying to make the show better. I always think, oh man, I should be spending more time getting ready for the show. And it's kind of scary because you want to be up to date, and you got to decide from a myriad of stories, what stories do I want to do? Which ones am I going to do? Okay. I thought first, let's go ahead and go to Drudge. Let's see if anything is is trending right now. Let's see, Drudge Report. Recent headlines. Massive water main breaks on Sunset Boulevard. Boehner, that's Speaker Boehner, no immigration reform on border bill. Now, I believe, in case you don't know, the Congress is discussing a bill to fund all of the illegal immigrants that are pouring into our country. Only 20% are children, I want to remind you. So there's that bill. Obama wanted some $3.8 billion. And I got a bad feeling something's going to get stuck in this bill. Now, Boehner says no immigration reform on border bill, but I have a bad feeling that something could get stuck in there. But that's just me. I'm paranoid. All right, moving on. Delaware District plans classrooms for students who do not read or write English. So this is gonna start hitting these states and cities. They're gonna have to pay for these kids that are pouring over the border, 20% of them. And let's see, Indiana governor learns of dumping through media. And that's the other thing, too. They're dumping these kids in states and cities and not telling the leaders. You know, that's kind of a low blow. It's like a war. Here's all this trouble. Here's all this money the taxpayers have to pay for. This is bizarre. And see, here again, this is like the open classroom. A lot of people are taking this, and this is horrible. Again, a government's number one job, the federal government's number one job is protecting our borders, defending our borders. And we're being invaded by a nefarious force of individuals who are confident that this is what President Obama wants. MSNBC falls fourth in cable news rating. I saw another story too that really interesting about how Fox News Sunday is number one now in America. That beat out NBC, ABC, and CBS. Now that's a huge deal because whatever your Sunday program, your Sunday news program, that's like your big tamale if you're in the network business. So that really is a real slam. And here's Joan Rivers. Let's jump to this, see if we have a video on this. This would be kind of fun, I think. I wonder if I can plug this in. Alright, this comes from the Daily Caller. This is trending right now. And we've been talking about Joan Rivers, and she says some pretty interesting things. Remember, first thing we reported on Joan Rivers, she said that everybody knows that Obama is gay and Michelle Obama is a tranny. Well, now she's in the media. In case you didn't hear, she said here last week that she supports Israel over Gaza. And now she's doubled down on it. She says Joan Rivers slams media on Israel-Gaza coverage, Hamas winning war because of the PR. I mean, this is just absolutely demonic. But, I mean, here she is out there speaking truth to power. And I'm sure the Obama administration is hotter than hell. You know, this kind of stuff really pisses them off. All right, I think we have a video here. Hang on a second. Let me see. We should just probably leave it at that. I just want to hear somebody say something that... Oh, here we go. Here she is right now. All right, Joan Rivers, welcome back to the Trailer Park Prophet Show. We appreciate it. We appreciate you supporting Israel. And when you're on our side, we really like you. All right, Joan Rivers, take it away. All right, she's being oh, she's on Howard Stern, for crying out loud. And in case you don't know, Howard Stern recently said he'll never vote for another Democrat in his life, and he also said he supports Israel. So this is kind of cool. This is Joan Rivers on how...
YouTube.com/Jean de Beaumetz.
All right, a little music.
It's always good when Joan Rivers is here. I love seeing her. She has a new book out, Diary of a Man.
Now it's selling very, very well because the book has made a lot of news and a lot of controversy.
What did I read? She was talking about
what is that?
someone.
What's that, baby?
It's on the bestseller list. That's not selling well. That means on the bestseller list.
Only you could take a compliment and think it's bad. Only you.
You're not complimenting her enough.
By the way, you look extra beautiful today. I love this beaded necklace type situation. QVC.
Quality. She will be selling that later this afternoon.
You look good. Do you sell this thing? What does that go for?
This will probably, I don't know, probably about $125.
It's very ornate. I mean, it's got flowers. It's got beads.
It's busy.
It's busy.
You really like it, huh?
I like it. I like your smell. I like
Everything on her is for sale.
Is that the Joan Rivers perfume?
Yes.
You smell terrific.
Yeah, it's a great perfume. We won the Fifi.
And who cuts your hair?
Puerto Rican, but legal.
It's legal.
Yes.
I never heard of that.
Name papers?
Name what?
Papers.
Raymond Rosario.
You look good. And you stopped doing the plastic surgery, right? I mean, that's it.
I
It's
can't
done.
find a plastic surgeon still alive. I haven't done anything in 5 years.
And
Right,
it looks
it's time.
good. No, now it
We're
looks
talking to
good.
each
It's
other.
settled. It's settled in.
It's settled well. It's dropped.
No, it looks good. You have dysmorphia. You know, you look in the mirror and you think you see one line and you get fucking crazy.
Yes.
You're crazy.
I know, but then you look and you think, Khloe Kardashian, who I don't know what she's done, but she looks gorgeous now.
Well, let me ask you something. She's a much younger kid than
I'm
you.
still competitive.
I understand that.
You want to look better than Khloe
I'd like to
Kardashian.
look like Khloe the way she looks now.
It's good that you care about your appearance. I get you. Some people your age, they give up. They
give up.
They look like a train hit.
Yes, but they come and tell me that.
Right. But to listen, you can have a little character on your face. Don't get crazy. Has anyone ever said you need to see a psychiatrist in order to get over this whole plastic surgery
Seriously?
thing? Yeah, seriously.
Besides my husband?
Yeah.
And Melissa.
Right.
And Melissa.
Has anyone ever sat you down and said, no one's ever done an intervention?
No.
You look terrific.
At this age, you have to look neat and clean.
Yeah, I know. You have to clean up. You know what I love about you, Joan, before I get to the book? I love the...
We have to get to the book.
We'll get to it. No, because it's a good book. The fact that you're at war with everyone still at your age is so great. This fucking Jerry Lewis, you know, I can't stand it.
That moron.
What a moron. And you are at war with... It's so great that you're at war with him. I mean, I don't even know why. I got to play that. You know what?
Like the two of you can make war is amazing.
Let me get you riled up. I'll play the clip of Jerry talking about you. And this will get you fucking crazy, and then you come up. Let's listen to Jerry Lewis talking about it, because...
And you better explain who Jerry Lewis is to anyone.
Right. Jerry Lewis used to be a comedian years ago. He worked with Dean Martin, and he did some movies, right?
Right, and he was very funny in his youth.
He was very funny. But he got older, and he became very crabby.
Mean.
Listen to this. I can't even believe how you're at war with everyone. It's so great.
And isn't this over the telethon? And the telethon he's not even associated with anymore.
Right, they threw him off the telethon. Here we go. Wait, let's get Joan worked up.
I always feel bad when somebody passes away. Except it was Joan Rivers, then I wouldn't,
No, you don't mean that.
Who's that?
That's Maria Menounos.
That's Maria Menounos.
I like her.
Yeah, she likes you.
You do?
He's finally getting laughs.
Finally.
Yeah.
That's why the long pause, you didn't know what the sound was.
I've never heard that before.
First time I've ever made that public statement. I don't know how it came out,
Whoa.
but I ain't lying.
All right, Jerry. Now you got to pony up the details. Why?
She set the Jews back 1,000 years. See, she went to Israel and uprooted 2 trees in my name.
I did.
He was getting some laughs. You didn't know. Yeah. On your cookies.
Joan attacked me in the press. And all she said was, Jerry Lewis has to be thankful that he has the telethon because it helps his career.
Yes, it
It does. What else is he doing?
Nothing. And
Right.
for years, nothing.
And then she went on and was even a little more salty. So I wrote her a note that night. I said, Dear Miss Rivers, we've never met, and I'm looking forward to keeping it that way.
Funny.
You guys have never met?
No, we had never met.
Wow.
Have you still never
So
met?
lie.
You had met.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, okay.
I said, if you find it necessary to discuss me, my career, or my kids ever again, I promise you, I will get somebody from Chicago to beat your goddamn head off.
Why can't he beat your head off? Like he needs a guy to do it for
He's
him?
going to get somebody.
He's going to get someone to do it. Oh.
But he had connections.
He was going to put a hit out on you.
Yeah. Allegedly. Yeah.
Now, P.S., you do know that you're not allowed to threaten people. So if you go to
But isn't it weird he wants to take a hit out on you because he said the telethon?
Allegedly. I don't want to get into pissy, but you give me the time.
Right.
Bad man, bad with the sons, bad. I'll tell you about the telethon, why we got into an argument.
All right.
group downtown, if you go to Metro, show them this letter, they'll arrest me. But I want you to never forget what it said. And that was it.
But that's such a humorless thing.
Okay, wait, that's probably it. Damn, I want to hear that one thing. I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, everything went dead here. Alright, I guess we gotta kill it. Well, at any rate, that was kind of fun. A little fun here on the Trailer Park Profit Show. God, I guess the interview goes on for quite a while. You can... Here, I'll share this on my Facebook page in case you guys want to check this out, Joan Rivers. And the headline here from the D.C. was that there was some mention of her support for Israel. And, you know, Joan Rivers is proven to be a conservative. And I don't know that she's a Republican. I don't know that she's a conservative. My guess is she is. And Jerry Lewis is most likely, I mean, I'd be willing to bet my fifth wheel, my 1984 fifth wheel, I bet you that Jerry Lewis is a progressive socialist statist. And you heard him on the radio there talk about beating Joan Rivers' head in, or having somebody beat Joan Rivers' head in. Now, if a conservative had said that, Rush Limbaugh, which he never would, or any Republican candidate, everyone on planet Earth would know he said that misogynistic type of remark. But it's okay for liberals to say stuff like that. And I wish we could have heard about Israel, but here, maybe I got a little language here. Oh no, we better move on. We better move on. But at least out there's some people that are standing up for Israel, who are not afraid to go against the lamestream media and the progressive socialist movement. Alright, let's see here. Oh, let me do a little station ID. This is Daniel Gray. I'm the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio from beautiful downtown overcast Crestone, Colorado. This is Hump Day with the Prophet. Thanks a lot for being here. Alright, first story here today. This is one I picked up before I actually did my story post. And I got this from CFAX Photo, and it says that the global sea ice is way up. Most since 2004. And you can go to this website. It says July 24th saw the most ice for that date since 1996 and the 8th highest ever recorded. And imagine they've been recording that for 100 years. Will the media report these inconvenient scientific observations? Probably not. Sea ice expanding, models confounded. Media silent. Okay, here we go. here we go. This is brilliant. I found this. I listened to this before the show, and it is a video of a welfare queen. And her name is Janet. And my friend who shared this, Jerry Schrecker, said, you're going to really love this one. Make sure to hear her last statement. Now, here's this. She's a black girl. She's in a very fashionable apartment. I mean, everything looks very neat and well anointed. And she's a young, beautiful black girl, and she has a beautiful dress on. She's beautiful. I mean, this girl, you listen to her in this video, you know she's smart, and she could go out and do anything she wants, but yet she's on welfare, and she's being very factual in her description of welfare, and she comes to a very brilliant conclusion, which is, why work when the government gives you all this stuff? All right, take it away, Janet. Welcome to the Trailer Park Profit Show.
Okay, EBT is basically about electronic benefit transfer, and it's basically about welfare and having children and just for money, just for the state. So the state of California can pay for WIC, GR, food stamps, daycare. I mean, the state of California, I mean, if you want EBT, the state of California is the best place to get your money. They'll pay the most, and yeah, it's like $221 for GR and about $179 for food. That's for each person. So, yeah. You get free daycare, you get free food, you can go to fast food restaurants now. Domino's Pizza is accepting EBT. McDonald's, I haven't saw a sign for McDonald's. Subway, you get your EBT, you can take your EBT card. Like, you get $221 in cash. You get free daycare, so if you have 4 kids or 6 kids, you get money for free daycare. So all of them can go to daycare. And most people, they have their friend as the daycare person, and they split the money. I heard all about it. And they split the money for that, and then you have the cash that they give you, and then the lights and gas and the free home. I mean, who would want to work in America? This is what the taxpayers are paying for.
Who would want to work in America? I mean, this lady gets it. And in case you don't know, the food stamps, a lot of people, it's amazing. I listen to some of these talking heads, and they don't understand that the EBT card or food stamps, it's now on a card, like a credit card. And there's 2 programs. There's the EBT food, and then there's EBT cash. And that's why you can go into McDonald's or where she said, you know, Subway or Pizza Hut and buy a pizza now with your cash award. A lot of people don't understand that. They think people are using their EBT card, their food stamp card, to buy something other than food from the store. And you can't do that. There's 2 different programs, 2 different piles of cash, but it's on the same card. And let's see here. And really, she's getting right down to the psychology of it. You know, if you're people, it's human nature. It's human nature that there's the left-right paradigm, and it's human nature that there's people out there that would rather sponge off the government than have to work. That's why people in capitalism are the real heroes, and why the progressive socialist status movement or the mainstream media, they don't like to highlight businesses. In fact, they're all the time they're working at demeaning the reputation of business owners and corporations in the media, because they just totally despise these people. But in the real world, the people that go out there and produce something make life better for everybody. They're not on the public dole. They're creating a good in service that other people want, and they're providing jobs. Those people are the real heroes, not the government. But this woman obviously understands, this welfare queen obviously understands, this is a pretty simple choice for her. I can live a reasonable, well life and not have to work, or I can go work. You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to see that this is very attractive to a lot of people. Okay, this is kind of really big news out there. This guy, Chris Kyle, he was a special forces guy, and he was in Afghanistan. He actually was a sharpshooter, and he killed a bunch of people, bad guys in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he comes back from the war, and he gets in a fight with Jesse Ventura, who actually also was special forces. I think both Chris Kyle and Jesse Ventura were SEALs. Now, Jesse Ventura is a progressive socialist. He was the governor of Minnesota. So he gets in a fight with this guy, Chris Kyle, or Jesse Jackson gets in a fight with this Chris Kyle, and Chris Kyle kicks his ass. And then after Chris Kyle writes a book about American Sniper, he is at the range with some guy who has PDS, one of his buddies, and his buddy pulls a gun on Chris Kyle and kills him. And even so, after that, Jesse Ventura takes this guy Chris Kyle's estate to court for defamation of character and, initiating a fight, allegedly, but he ends up winning. Jesse Ventura ends up winning $1.8 million settlement from Chris Kyle's estate. And he's dead. And, okay, so here we have a video. I believe this is on Fox and Friends. It is. And this is Benjamin Smith, who was Chris Kyle's roommate in basic training. So we're going to see what Benjamin has to say about this whole situation. And it's an interesting story. A lot of people are talking about it on Facebook and the social media, and it's all over the lamestream media. And here again, Jesse Ventura is a progressive socialist status, and Chris Kyle is a Republican. And that's one reason why...
Introducing the next gen home by Lennar.
Alright, that's one of the reasons why the lamestream media is so into this.
Maybe Grandma needs
Alright, skip back, come on. Alright, go ahead here, Benjamin, take it away. Welcome to the Trailer Park Profit Show. Alright, Fox and Friends.
A Minnesota jury awarding Jesse Ventura $1.8 million in a defamation suit against late Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle. Kyle said he punched Ventura for denigrating the SEALs in the country. Kyle's friend and roommate in basic training is outraged by the verdict. He's retired Navy SEAL Benjamin Smith. Ben, your reaction to the verdict yesterday and what Taya now has to deal with?
Well, I was trying to grasp it and hearing it and wondering how our judicial system could do that. I mean, Chris told me himself about it. There was Gold Star mothers there. You were at a Navy SEAL's wake who jumped on a grenade for his brothers, and I don't understand, because the facts of this are not in that way. He didn't lie. I saw what the lawyer said, and that's absolutely not true. The people who were there aren't in this for any kind of notoriety or anything. They just that's what happened. He was running his mouth and saying some really vile stuff, saying we should lose more men, more heroes, more guys out there who were fighting the fight. And is that not almost treasonous? Like you're anti-American, saying we should lose. And he said, "You say that again, I'm gonna pop you in. I'm gonna get you." And he did, and he just came over and did it.
How different would this have been, Ben, had Chris Kyle been alive to testify on his own behalf?
Well, that goes to actually knowing Chris. We were in Buds together. He was my roommate, and after that we went our separate ways. But in knowing him, he had this just matter-of-factness about him. He would do what's right always, and he would tell you the truth, no matter how, difficult or hard it was on you. He just would tell you what exactly happened, and he was just so matter-of-fact about everything, and I really think it would have made a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, at least there is book sales there, and there's follow-up book. If people want to support Chris Kyle and are outraged by this decision like both of us are, go out and buy both of those books. That's a way of supporting his family and keeping his memory alive. Benjamin Smith, thanks for your service, and thanks for sharing your memories.
And we shouldn't focus on Jesse. We should focus on Chris's life, and what he did for Americans. So
you got it.
Focus on the good.
You got it. Benjamin Smith, thanks so much.
What's really strange is that Chris Kyle didn't get to speak in his defense because he was dead. I mean, I understand if somebody feels like they're aggrieved that it doesn't matter if the individual's alive or not, but it shows a sense of callousness, I mean, Kyle and Ventura are brothers. They're both Navy SEALs, but here it is, right in your face, a pure example of a progressive socialist status, Jesse Ventura going against somebody who really does believe in the Constitution, really understands what this country's all about. And I forgot all about that this was a reunion, or not a reunion, but a wake for a fallen Navy SEAL. This is a wake. This is a serious ceremony. This is a serious get-together. They don't want to hear somebody like Jesse Ventura bad-mouthing the SEALs or America. And that's what he was doing. But $1.8 million? So hopefully this will get appealed. Oh, I want to do something right now, but I'm not going to. All right, everybody, you're listening to the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio from beautiful downtown, overcast Crestone, Colorado. Hey, if you're thinking about coming up to the mountains, Crestone is having their yearly music festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of August. And they know how to put on a pretty good show. It isn't really snazzy, but they do a really good job. And you might consider coming to Crestone, Colorado. They have 2 stages. They have a lot of booths, and the people are really nice. They actually do put on a pretty good show. And if you want to be cool, come to Colorado. I mean that figuratively and literally. Story here from GOP, the Daily Dose. And this story is everywhere. And it says that Barack Obama and Rob Emanuel, who is now the Chicago mayor, are both members of the same Chicago gay bathhouse. And this article, if you want to go and look at it, I better get going. I got a lot of stories, and I got kind of involved in the first segment. But, I mean, there's this famous gay bathhouse in Chicago, and this story's out there that Barack Obama is gay. And, boy, it shows a picture of Rob Emanuel and Obama, and, I mean, they are kissing close right now. And I know that this is probably a picture of them on stage in front of a big event, but they are a little uncomfortably close. Now, I would not want to be that close to any male. And a lot of females I wouldn't want to be that close to, too. But I don't like touchy-feely people. I don't get into people's face. But I wonder, if Barack... And remember, the other story, we even did this story from Larry Sinclair, said that Barack Obama, when he was a state senator in Illinois, was part of a gay escort service, plus Barack Obama sold cocaine. I mean, it's out there. Okay, here we have something from BizPack Review. We did 2 stories from them on Monday. I like these guys. And they issued this story yesterday, and it says here that veteran Congresswoman called on President Barack Obama to unilaterally grant amnesty to the 11 million illegal immigrants currently living in the United States in response to a report circulating in Washington that the White House is planning major executive action. Speaking on MSNBC News Nation with Tamron Hall, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, decried Republican efforts to craft a comprehensive immigration bill and said, quote, "The president is only trying to lead. I would applaud the president because all we're doing is taking a sore, bleeding sore and watching it bleed, continue to be infected, and sprinkling water on top of it. That's what the Republicans are doing." I mean, what interesting imagery. She's calling all these people that are pouring over our border as a sore, a bleeding sore, and we're having to watch it bleed and continue to be infected. And so what? They're coming to America and they're getting diseased? I mean, what? The imagery is inappropriate. Inappropriate affect. And she said, she went on to say, Representative Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee noted that 70% of the American public supports treating the illegal immigrant children entering the country humanely, which begs the question, are the other 30% sadists? Anyways, I thought we had a video. I love to hear Sheila Jackson Lee talk. I mean, she's really animated and she's just fun to watch. Oh, this is a big story. I love this story. Alright, so we know there's war in the Gaza, between Gaza, Hamas, and Israel. And so I got this story from Pamela Keller, man. This is a good website. It's called Pamela Keller. This is an actual woman. Atlas Shrugs. And she's just good. I really like her. I wish I had some money. I would definitely give her some money. But anyway, this story is out there, and there's a leaked transcript of a phone call between Obama and Netanyahu, I guess last night. And the story is out there raging that Obama was yelling at Netanyahu. And publicly, both sides are denying this, but Obama is a liar, an unabashed, pathological, unconscionable liar. You can keep your doctor, not a smidgen of corruption at the IRS. Benghazi was a spontaneous attack because of a YouTube video, and Bibi is in no position to set the jihad afied in the White House, but if true, it gives us a glimpse at the monster running the country. But see, I think it gives us a bigger glimpse into the man Obama. Okay, let me see here where we get into the transcript here. Now, I mean, I have every reason to believe that this is true. And that is because so many other news outlets are out there saying that there was a shouting match between Obama and the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. And let's get down to it. But what's really curious is that this transcript was leaked. And then you gotta say, okay, who leaked it? And it's probably Netanyahu, unless there's actually somebody in the Obama administration that realizes that what's going on in the Middle East between Hamas and Israel is really out of control, and it looks like the man they're working for is on the wrong side of history. But somehow this got out here, and both sides are going to say, hey, this didn't happen, this isn't true. Alright, let's see here. Actually, it occurred on Sunday, and this is being reported on Channel 1 IBA News, Israel Broadcasting News. Okay, here's the transcript. It goes, this is Obama speaking. He says, I demand that Israel agree to an immediate unilateral ceasefire and stop all offensive activities, especially air attacks. He's demanding. Netanyahu, what will Israel receive in exchange for a ceasefire? Obama, I believe that Hamas will stop shooting their rockets. Quiet will be answered with quiet. Now, there's been 3 ceasefires, none of which Hamas has honored. So, Netanyahu right now is thinking Obama's a freaking idiot. What's wrong with this guy? And remember, this is right on the heels of John Kerry this weekend making a ridiculous peace proposal to Israel, and it was all the demands of Hamas, and it was backed by Turkey and Qatar, who are people or countries who think that Israel should be wiped off the map. So Netanyahu knows he's dealing with madmen from the U.S. All right. And Netanyahu says Hamas has breached all 5 previous ceasefires. It's a terror origination that is committed to the destruction of the state of Israel. Hello? And then Obama says, I expect Israel to unilaterally stop all of its military activities. The images of destruction from Gaza are moving the world further away from Israel's position. Now, Netanyahu knows, and you know if you listen to the Trailer Park Prophet Show, that Hamas is telling people to go to the targets that Israel says they're going to hit in Gaza 2 days before. And we've talked about this. This is part of Hamas's protocol, is to fire the missiles from a hospital in Gaza, or from a school, or from a mosque, or a church, and then they know that Israel's going to retaliate and hit that target where those rockets are. But before Israel hits that target, they fly over, drop leaflets, tell everybody to get out, and then they send what's called a roof knocker bomb, lets people know this is where the bomb's going to go, and we've reported over and over again that Hamas then encourages people to go where the bomb's coming. I mean, I'm sorry to have to repeat myself, but it's just insanity. I don't even think this kind of thinking, what I just said about how Hamas operates, it really, you don't even want that kind of thinking in your mind. That's why I repeat it, plus we have new listeners. Alright, moving on. Discussion on the phone Sunday with the President of Israel, our Prime Minister, and the President of the USA, Barack Hussein Obama. Alright. And let's see here. Netanyahu. Kerry's proposal was totally unrealistic and gave Hamas military and diplomatic advantages. Obama. A week after Israel ends its military activities, Qatar and Turkey will begin negotiations with Hamas based on the 2012 understandings, which include a Israel commitment to remove the blockade and other restrictions from Gaza. Netanyahu. Qatar and Turkey are the biggest supporters of Hamas. You can't rely on them to be honest brokers. Obama. I trust Qatar and Turkey. Israel is not in a position to choose the mediator. Netanyahu, I warn that Hamas will be able to continue launching rockets and use tunnels for terror attacks. Obama, in erupting Netanyahu, the ball is in the Israeli court, and it must stop all military activities. Netanyahu rejects Netanyahu rejects that this transcript that I just read to you is truthful, and the White House says the same. But looks like we do have a video on this story. All right, let's see here. Oh, this is the story that is actually being... Alright, so what I just reported to you is actually on Israeli television, so I'm not the only one out there standing alone on this story. I don't want to be in a position to be having to come back to you and say, you know what? I got that all wrong. I don't want to have to come back and make a retraction. But, if there's yelling and screaming going on between world leaders, I guess that's nothing new, but we certainly want to know about it. All right, everybody, we're at the top of the hour. And let's see here, activate microphone. I gotta activate something here. Let's see if I can activate this. I want to be able to hook up to another media outfit, and I downloaded this TeamSpeak 3 and set status set globally. I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see. Mute microphone. Microphone is muted. Alright, unmute microphone. Okay, let me see here. Just hang on a second, will ya? No, that's not what I want. I want to record. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm trying to get on this new, like a blog talk, only it's a little different. But they need everything to be in MP3, and I don't have that ability. All right, hang on a second. Let's see if I can get this to work. Thanks for being patient. All this stuff under revamp. Bear with me if issue. Okay. All right, let me see here. All right, I'll abandon this in a minute. I like to do this stuff live because a lot of times it doesn't work unless it's live. All right. Thank you for being patient. You're listening to Daniel Gray. I'm the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Crestone, Colorado, on Blog Talk Radio. This is Hump with the Prophet. All right, we got another video here. This is from Fox. They're the only ones that really do news anymore, and even some of their work is kind of suspect. Sometimes I think Fox News is more interested in pleasing the moderate Republicans, the rhinos, than they are really helping out the Tea Party or the more conservative, traditional Republicans. All right, anyway, I got this from Conservative Tribune, excellent website, and we haven't heard from John Bolton in a while, and he was, you might remember, was the secretary to the UN for part of the Bush administration, the second Bush administration, and he's on Justice Gene Pyro's program, and they're talking about what's going on in the Middle East. So again, John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, talking to Justice Gene Pyro. All right, you guys, take it away. Welcome again to the Trailer Park Prophet.
Christianity under attack tonight. Horrific violence and threats facing Christians in Iraq. Pleas for help falling on deaf ears around the world. Will and can anything be done before Christianity as we know it is wiped out? With me now, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN and Fox News contributor, John Bolton. Ambassador, good evening. Can the United States help protect Christians in the Middle East?
Well, I think we can, and I think we should. The threat that you've described and we're just talking about comes from a particular kind of ideology. It's a radicalized version of Islam that's both theologically extreme but has an important political dimension to it as well. And it's opposing this kind of ideology that I think is important, but as of now, on which the United States is showing no leadership at all. If anything, many of our policies actually seem sympathetic to this ideology, or at least unwilling to oppose it. And the signal that sends, obviously, is very negative for the Christians, for smaller sects of Muslim populations, and for anybody else who gets in the way.
And when you say signals, Ambassador, are you referring to the Obama early withdrawal from Iraq? Or supporting the Muslim Brotherhood specifically? What are you referring to?
Well, those are two good places to start. One of the reasons that keeping American forces in Iraq would have been a smart thing to do was to help contain this sectarian conflict and give Iraq the chance to knit itself together as a functioning country. Opposing the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt would have sent a signal that we don't believe that that groups like that really are legitimate participants in a democratic process. You could go on and on and on looking at radicalized terrorist groups in Syria, in Libya, in Yemen, all across the Middle East and North Africa. And yet the administration has not taken an effective stand against them. And I think we're seeing the consequences of that now, certainly with ISIS, as you described it, in Syria and Iraq.
All right. Well, Ambassador, you're very familiar with the role of the militants and what they are capable of. I mean, do you think that it not only is it their intent to eliminate Christianity from the Middle East, but do you think they are capable of accomplishing that, especially given the fact that nobody seems to be doing anything?
Well, I think their odds of success are increasing. You know, this is not an ideological movement in the sense that communism was, all flowing from the Marxist ideology written by one man. It's much more of a force in differing respects in different countries, but it's all united by the same basic radicalized form of Islam and its intense hostility to the West and to our values. And that's why I think it's important to recognize this ideology and to take steps against it. I think there are many Muslims in the region who would stand with us if they thought we were there for the long haul. But when they see us backing and filling and withdrawing, they're going to look out for themselves. So actually the chaos deepens because of the lack of American leadership.
And not only that, but, you know, for those Muslims, I mean, some of them felt not to be, you know, extremist enough are being killed as well. The Sunnis are killing the Shia Muslims in Iraq and in this ISIS state. But let's move on to, just for a moment, our embassy in Tripoli evacuated today. Americans told to get out of Libya. What is going on there?
Well, Libya has descended into chaos, and I think that was entirely predictable after the West helped overthrow Gaddafi. As the president said, or as his aide said, leading from behind, he turned his back on Libya, and the central government lost effective control over much of the country. That was one of the reasons, tragically, for the murder of Chris Stevens on September the 11th, 2012, and now the violence and anarchy have continued to spread. I think it's the right thing to do to pull the people out of the embassy. I think that's one of the sad, tragic lessons we learned from September the 11th. But honestly, the broader strategic lesson here is that when the United States turns its back and doesn't try to protect its own interest, this kind of chaos can spread. And I think, again, the possibility of this disease spreading throughout the Middle East is growing. I think the entire region is becoming less stable. We can see it all over, not least of which is in Gaza today. You can see the rise of sectarian and ethnic tensions. And every prospect is it's going to get worse as long as the United States doesn't try and protect its friends and its allies in its own interest.
And, you know, that vacuum that you speak of also occurred in Egypt after the overthrow of Mubarak. You know, who comes in? Morsi. What a mess that was. Anyway, Ambassador Bolton, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And coming up, a Coptic Christian...
And see, the thing is that everything the Obama administration has done is helped the Muslim Brotherhood and helped radical Islam. By creating those vacuums in Egypt and Libya and Tunisia and not backfilling with our own State Department people and helping those countries put together a new constitution, we allowed for the militant Islamic groups to come into those countries and set up a government, set up shop. It's in total disarray what's going on in the world, and most of it has been caused by the Obama administration and their unwillingness to involve the U.S. or just to deliberately allow for chaos to develop. It's discouraging for me sometimes to think about how awful things are for women, for girls, whether it's in Syria, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, all those places because of Barack Obama's foreign policy of leading from behind, millions of women and children have lost their rights to radical Sharia law, to radical Islam. And that upsets me. It really does. And when I know it's deliberate, that triple upsets me. Alright, I gotta change things a little bit, make it a little more fun for us today. I just found this story from Newsmax, and it says that the president of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, has demanded better weather forecasts. And again, this is from Newsmax, a story that was posted today. And it says that Kim Jong-un toured a handful of meteorological facilities this week and expressed his displeasure to the weathermen that there are too many incorrect forecasts. According to CNN, as per state-run newspaper Ro Dong-Sin-moon, the red-faced supreme leader of North Korea lectured employees and gave field advice to the hydrometeorological service. Kim Jong-un, and this is actually, this is from the Sun newspaper. Kim Jong-un lays into terrified meteorologists for getting forecast wrong. Okay, I think, here's a quote. It says, It is necessary to fundamentally improve the work of the hydrometeorological service in order to scientifically clarify meteorological and climate conditions and provide accurate data for weather forecasts and meteorological and climate information required by the various fields of national economy in good time. I mean, and here's what's funny. Remember that North Korea, they're dark at night. They don't have enough power in North Korea to have lights on at night. So if you see North Korea on a satellite, it's dark. It's the only part of the world that's dark. And if they had the internet, which they don't have the internet in North Korea, they'd be able to go on and look at the weather like I was doing for you early in the program. They wouldn't even need their own meteorology, whatever, society. Alright, this is a crazy story. U.S. shouldn't give Guatemala $2 billion for a border crisis. Guatemalan President Otto Perez Molina says $2 billion in federal aid and the U.S. investment in America. So now Guatemala and these other countries that are allowing their kids to pour into our country are now asking for money. I mean, we're being shook down. I mean, this is exactly like the mafia. Oh, and here's Hillary Clinton. This is really something. Hillary Clinton was weighing in on what's going on in the Middle East between Hamas and Israel. And she actually said this. This is on, America. It was on the lamestream media. I can't remember what channel it is. But she's talking about what's going on between Hamas and Israel. And the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton explained that Hamas hides their military weapons among civilians due mainly to the geography, not religious extremism or hatred of the Israel state. In an interview with Fusion TV, I've heard of them before, Clinton said, quote, Hamas puts its missiles, its rockets in civilian areas. Part of it is because Gaza is pretty small and it's densely populated. At no time does Clinton mention the official charter of Hamas, a terrorist organization, which denies the right of Israel to exist and asks all Muslims to help obliterate it. Quote, Mrs. Hillary Clinton again, Israel will exist and will continue to exist under Islam until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. I'm sorry, I got that quote wrong. But anyway, we do have a video of Hillary Clinton talking to this talking head. All right, go ahead, Hillary. Explain yourself before the trailer park prophet.
Would you feel totally comfortable right now to get on a commercial airliner and go to Israel tonight?
Yes. I mean, I negotiated the last ceasefire in November 2012, and I know that there were concerns by our FAA and the Europeans. Those have been alloyed. They're not as severe. But I think you have to constantly be watching to make sure that flights are safe. But right now,
But you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't be afraid.
I would not be.
Now, the current conflict started with the killings of 14, 3 Israelis and 1 Palestinian. But so far, more than 700 Palestinians have died. More than 30 Israelis have died. Most of them civilians. Do you think that Israel somehow responded in a disproportionate way?
Jorge, it's such a tragic situation. I think Hamas intended to provoke Israel because that's why they started the rocket fire again. As I say, when I negotiated ceasefire, it held until just this month. And then Hamas, which has its back against the wall, decided to once again fire rockets into Israel. Mm-hmm. Israel made it clear that wasn't acceptable. Hamas kept doing it. Israel said, we have to stop the rockets. And then they discovered all these tunnels. So obviously Israel has a right to self-defense, but I and everybody who is seeing these terrible pictures on our TV hope there can be a ceasefire and try to end the killing and try to prevent the unbelievable heartbreak that we see happening.
What's the appropriate response, you think?
Well, I think what the problem is, and this is something, I'm not a military planner, but Hamas puts its missiles, its rockets in civilian areas. Part of it is that Gaza is pretty small and it's very densely populated. They put their command and control of Hamas military leaders in those civilian areas. Israel, I know, has sent warnings and tried to get people to move. But in any kind of conflict, there are going to be civilian casualties, and we need to try to get to a ceasefire as soon as possible.
Say what, Gringa? What? So she's totally ignoring the fact that this latest war between the Gaza and Israel was started by Gaza, started by Hamas 6 different times. We just learned that by listening to Netanyahu. But she doesn't deal with the question with the foundation or couched in the reality that this war has been started over and over and over again by Hamas. And she doesn't state that the only reason there is a Gaza is because Israel gave Gaza to the Palestinians. And Hamas is not trying to build a sustainable community. They're spending all the money they get to build tunnels and buy missiles to wipe Israel off the map. And that's first and foremost. If you're a good reporter, you would say, well, Hillary Clinton, I mean, how can you negotiate with somebody, i.e. Hamas, who has in their charter the hope for the eventual destruction of Israel? That's what you got to settle first. And then number 2 is, why is it Hamas keeps sending missiles into Israel? Why don't they stop that? You know, what is it, the old joke about insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again? Well, Hamas is insane. And I don't think you can deal with Hamas in a way that you should deal with the sovereign country. Because Hamas, oh, by the way, I mean, it's out there. I forgot completely about the POL, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. They're still out there. The one that was headed up by Arafat. And they're a political party more so than Hamas. Hamas is a political party and a paramilitary operation. And like I said, there haven't been elections in the Gaza. And you don't hear that coming from the talking heads. You don't hear that coming from the lamestream media reporters, so-called journalists. And that's a big issue. And now the PLO is out there, the Palestinian Liberation Organization is out there saying, hey, wait, how come we're not being called to the bargaining table? You know, like John Kerry and Obama said, well, you know, we're going to bring Turkey and Qatar to the bargaining table, and you know, that's just out and out crazy, but they're not bringing in the PLO. I mean, there's two sides, and the PLO is less radical, less of a tyrant than Hamas. You know, and there's so much to this story that's not being brought to the public. It's kind of lying by omission. But, you know, sometimes these stories, you know, they go on for generations, particularly this one, and after a while, you know, you get kind of tired or complacent, or you just pick a side and you get cognitive dissonance, and you just lock in your heels, and you only see the world through your blinders. And it's unfortunate, particularly if you happen to be somebody who is supposed to be a leader, supposed to be a journalist. Wow, I hear a bunch of screaming and yelling going on the streets of Crestone, Colorado. Must be a new batch of meth in town. Okay, here. Oh, another story from TPNN, Tea Party News Network. All right, let's see, what was this story about? I already forgot what this story was about. Oh, I know. There's it's all over the internet. And Lois Lerner, as you remember, was the head of the IRS, and she was the head of granting 501c nonprofit status to various organizations, and she and her department were very vigilant against Tea Party or Christian or Jewish groups getting the 501 status, and also she was the head of the IRS that lost 2 years of her emails. And about 10 of her staff, somehow all their emails got lost. God. And she's an arrogant, smug human being. Well, at any rate, let's see here. There are reports now all over the place that let's see, what was it? Now I forget what the story was about. Now more and more of these emails are starting to turn up, you know, because you know damn good and well, I mean, she can say, yeah, you know what, my hard drive got destroyed, our backup company got destroyed, and everything's lost, but they did send those emails to somebody, and eventually those somebodies are going to start leaking those emails out, and that's a big story today, that some of the people that got these Lois Lerner emails are now leaking them to the press, and basically what they said in these emails. Oh, here's Lois Lerner. She says, I'm talking about the hosts of the shows. The callers are rabid, Lerner replied. So we don't need to worry about alien terrorists. It's our own crazies that will take us down, talking about conservatives. This email shows that Lerner's mistreatment of conservative groups was driven by her personal hostility toward conservative committee chairman Dave Camp wrote in a letter to Attorney General Eric Holder. This new evidence clearly demonstrates why Ms. Lerner not only targeted conservatives but denied such groups their right to due process and equal protection. Okay, where's the actual... Alright. Okay, Lerner. Alright, at any rate. Oh, here it is right here. Excuse me. Alright, and then again, Lerner, the former head of non-profits at the Obama IRS, who admittedly was targeting certain Americans because of their political beliefs, differed from Obama's only to then refuse to testify under oath. She took the Fifth Amendment, refusing to indict herself, called for freedom, pro-Constitution Tea Party conservatives a-holes, and compared them to terrorists. This was in an email. And I guess they don't have they don't have the rest of it here. At any rate, it does actually show the emails. Oh, here we go. Actually has a picture here. And says, from Lois Lerner, it's blocked out to who. She says, so we don't need to worry about alien terrorists. It's our own crazies that will take us down. That's what Lois Lerner sent from her BlackBerry wireless handheld. And then she goes on to say in another email, and I'm talking about the host of shows. The callers are rabid. So she's probably talking about Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin, Trailer Park Prophet, Glenn Beck. I had to throw myself in there. The callers are rabid? I mean, I've been a fan of talk radio for a lot of years, and it isn't the people that call into the shows are the ones that are the liberals that are rabid. All the conservatives, I mean, for the most part, I think are pretty cool. I mean, they're not rabid. I mean, if you want to hear rabid, go to any, hell, there's so few actual progressive socialist radio programs anymore because people don't want to listen to them, but I listened to them for years, and you want to talk about rabid. All right, let's see here. What else do we got from Lois Lerner? Let's see. Subject, suspension or retention. Great. Maybe we are through. If there are, okay, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Okay, at any rate, show me more. Oh, I want to see more emails from Lois Lerner. Alright, let's forget that. Moving on. At any rate, they're looking into what happened with Lois Lerner and the IRS and the targeting of conservative groups. Oh man, this is disgusting. Absolutely, positively disgusting. But this dovetails nicely with that story we did with John Bolton about there's a genocide going out there in the world against Christians. Now, this is from the Right Scoop, an article they posted yesterday. And it's from Showbat.com. Now, this guy is all over it. This guy, Showbat.com, he was with the Muslim Brotherhood, and now he's done a 180, and he's out there speaking truth to power. And he said that the ISIS, and I got to remember what that means. That's the Islamic Syrian Iraqi. Oh my God, I forget what it is. But it's that group of radical Islamists that are funded by Saudi Arabia that have taken over part of Iraq and part of Syria. And they just released a video showing what they claim are Iraqi army POWs captured by ISIS, driven away in truckloads, and then shot them all dead. The video caption stated that there are 1,500 individuals. The video shows their end being shot at point blank in several horrific mass slaughters reminiscent to what we see during Nazi Germany. The young teens begged for their lives as they were made to curse Allah Malaki, but to no avail, while they were forced to chant, "Long live the Muslim nation." I mean, this gives you the video, and this is really shocking stuff. I can't watch it. I mean, they dug this hole, and here in the picture, there's got to be 100 kids, or 100 young men, and they're being forced into this ditch, and then they're shot dead. Now, this was released by ISIS. And that means they want you to know what they're going to do. They're showing the world. I mean, they're releasing this to the world on social media. I mean, they want you to understand what they're all about. They're going to, a video. released to the world on the internet. It's on Facebook. ISIS in Iraq killing 1,500 people, and you can go to my Facebook page and look at it if you have the stomach for it. But this is ISIS saying, hey, you know what? We don't care. We're here, and we're going to do what we want. We're going to impose Sharia law, and if you're not going to commit to Islam, then you're going to be killed, or you're going to be taxed, or you're going to be shunned, or you're going to be run out of the country. Alright, I got a little funny for you. Maybe I should save this to the end of the show. I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is we're going to have a little fun here today on the Trailer Park Prophet Show. This is Hump Day with the Prophet. I am the Prophet, Daniel Gray. Actually, I am the Trailer Park Prophet. Coming at you live on Blog Talk Radio from beautiful, overcast, downtown Crestone, Colorado. And for your enjoyment, I have Tim Hawkins. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. This is just kind of fun. I'm going to give you a little break from all the seriousness out there. We all need a little joy in our life. All right, take it away.
Older, but, I think that being a comedian, I could do comedy for a long time and still would look, okay. I think that a lot of musicians I see, like rock stars, they need to quit after a while. It doesn't look right, I'm just like... But, if you're a musician, though, I say, if you get older, just keep singing, but just change your songs. Make it look more believable, no matter what group you are.
Right.
Like the Village People.
Yeah.
Change your songs, I got a letter from AARP. No matter who you are, like Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton's getting older. He'll have to change his songs like a... When the day has begun, put some of this on, Rogaine. If you got a false spot and want to keep what you got, Rogaine. Your hairline is declining, you shine.
Rogaine!
No matter who you are, like a Tom Petty. Tom Petty's getting older. What's Tom Petty gonna say? Don't come in my yard no more. You've ruined my lawn before. Whatever you kids are looking for. Don't come in my yard no more. How about the Who? Who am I? Who am I? Who the heck are you? Oh, we can do this all night, man. How about Casey and the Sunshine Band? Girl, to dance with you is my favorite thing. Yeah. But when I hit the floor, I really feel the pain. So, I need to put on my orthopedic shoes. Yeah, I'm gonna put on my orthopedic shoes. Yeah.
That's funny.
But Neil Diamond. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Neil Diamond getting older. Here we go.
Who's Neil Diamond?
Jello again. Jello. I always eat Jello. I love that jiggly thing you do. And you make lunch great. I can hardly wait. Jello.
That's funny. I hope you guys...
an older man like the Eagles. Eagles getting old. This is what they're going to sing right here.
On a dark country highway, cool wind in your hair, warm smell of a corn dog rising up through the air. You see a sign in the distance that says, we're open all day. And if you walk up to the entrance, it's where you'll hear me say, I'm a greeter at Walmart in California. Yeah, I work the door at the superstore. I hand out stickers at a Walmart in California, where my vest is blue and my hair is blue.
That's so funny.
But no collection like this would be complete. As far as getting older, would be Garth Brooks. I think I would love to hear what Garth is going to sing up into his 80s. So we'll finish this with Garth. Here we go.
My buddies and me were once wild and free. Now we ain't doing so great. We used to go down and tear up the town, and now we're all in bed by 8. Our parties are fewer. We're sipping insured.
Did you get that? Slipping insured, that's an old folks
Sip
drink.
of our glass of champagne. Now when we get together, we just talk about the weather. And all we ever do is complain. Cause all my friends have hip replacements. Cause they slipped and fell in their garage or basement. We're old and pale, and our bones are frail. Yeah, years ago we were stealing bases. Now we spend our time having wheelchair races. Oh, my friend, have hip replacement. God bless you.
All right, Tim Hawkins. You know, I know I talk a lot about serious stuff, but and I don't give you a whole lot of insight into my personal thinking or my place in life or my situation. But one thing I really find truly remarkable about being a human is that we have the joy of being around such brilliance. And one of those individuals is this guy, Tim Hawkins. I mean, he's brilliant. I mean, he's another musician, and there's more musicians out there than their ears to listen. But this guy, you know, he realized there's a lot of competition out there, I imagine, being a musician, and he realized that, you know, he's pretty run-of-the-mill, and he decided, hey, why don't I turn this into a comedy act? And that's what he did, and he's absolutely, positively brilliant, you know, and it's fun. We enjoy this. We have a good feeling, and I marvel at the brilliance that we get to live amongst. And there's brilliant people down the street from you. There's brilliant people at your work. You're probably brilliant. But it's just wonderful to be in the company of such brilliance. And it's part of the human experience that I truly enjoy. Alright, let's see here. And here again we got another story here about Sheila Jackson. And I'm wondering, I want to see exactly how much time we have. Alright, actually I think we're doing pretty good today. Alright, I got this story from Your Daily Dose of Conservatism. Again, this is this is Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas, setting the stage for Obama's impeachment fundraising on racism. and I know I've talked about it. A lot of people on talk radio are talking about it, that President Obama is begging the Republicans to impeach him because he feels that that will help the fortunes of the Democratic Party in the upcoming 2014 election. All right, so here is Sheila Jackson Lee on the floor of the House of Representatives, and I think we have a video. And let's see, I could set this up a little better. Let's just listen to the congressman, see what she has to say. I believe this was yesterday on the floor of the House of Representatives. Might have been today. No.
Particular branch. Mr. Speaker, I would make the argument that this week is going to be 3 days of wasted time. I know that there are people who disagree with the Affordable Care Act, with immigration reform, with the unaccompanied children. Not one of those issues is attributable to the malfeasance of the President of the United States. I don't know whether this is a substitute for impeachment, but I'd make the argument that the President has neither committed anything equal to impeachment, and this second-class level, I call it second-class citizenship of a lawsuit, certainly is inappropriate. I believe the American people are much more interested.
One thing, I hate it when any politician from any side of the ideological divide suggests that they're speaking for the American people. I find that wholly inappropriate thing to say. But at any rate, it looks like the lamestream media is suggesting to the public that the Republicans, all they're thinking about is impeaching President Obama, when in fact, they're not. In fact, they're saying just the exact opposite. The Republicans don't want to start impeachment proceedings in an election cycle. If they did, I mean, just think how illogical this is. I mean, we reported on Monday or Friday that there's a 60% chance that the Republicans are going to take over the U.S. Senate in November of 2014, this year. So why would they jeopardize their position right now on the public square by trying to impeach Obama? I mean, even if the House started impeachment proceedings, it's not going to get passed by the democratically controlled Senate. But yet the lamestream media, Jackson here and other liberals are saying that's all the Republicans are thinking about is impeachment. It's psychological warfare. And it just feels like it's, I don't know, it just feels like it's orchestrated. It bugs me. Okay, I got another video here from Michael Dreyfus, and I thought this would be kind of fun. I don't know exactly who this is, but I'm going on faith that this is going to be kind of cool. We're trying to have a little fun here today at the Trailer Park Prophet. Not that we don't have fun all the time.
Remember, this is my country, and I'm going to do good for it. Just might work.
John Wayne.
We'll never know unless we give it a fair try. Oh, yeah, and there's one other thing I'll say tomorrow, because I say it every day of my life. God bless America.
Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light of above. From the mountains
to the valleys,
to the ocean, wide and wide.
God bless America,
my home,
sweet home.
God bless America, land I love, stand beside her and guide her
right, now what that was, I didn't really do a good job setting that up. It was a bunch of Hollywood stars, like John Wayne and Lucille Ball and the Smothers Brothers, but a whole group of people that you would know from American TV, from Hollywood. And they got together and they sang America the Beautiful. And, I'm welled up. I'm overwhelmed. I love that song. I remember all those Hollywood stars. They were from Bonanza, and all those people are people I know from my past. I'm a baby boomer. And they're singing about how beautiful America is, how beautiful our country is, how beautiful our Constitution is, and how forward-thinking our founding fathers were to understand that there is a nature in man that is bad, and there has to be reins put on it. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a country like we have today under Barack Hussein Obama. But no, being patriotic to this country is no longer fashionable, particularly from Hollywood or the left coast or even, from New York and all the liberal states. It's very unfashionable to be pro-American. And I think that's wrong. I think that's evil. I think that's treason. But there's a lack of understanding of what America is. It's been distorted. It's been besmirched. All right, moving on. God bless America. Okay, God, I haven't done this story, but it's been out there on the internet now for probably a couple months now, and it's about the Ebola virus, which is a really nasty virus, probably one of the worst actual diseases known to mankind, and it's my understanding that it's been isolated to 3 countries in Africa. And what now is worrisome is that the Ebola virus has spread across the globe, and health officials are trying to trace 30,000 deaths linked to one U.S. victim. As it says, as Nigeria film star sparks outrage by fleeing Africa first class in a Ebola mask. Can you imagine getting on an airplane and see somebody in this full-on sort of chemical outfit sitting in, down the aisle from you? And let's see, a Hong Kong woman quarantined when she fell ill after returning from Kenya. Expert claims panic over... I gotta kill something here, hang on. At any rate, I have 3 stories here today talking about the Ebola virus that supposedly was contained to 3 different countries in Africa, and now there's all these stories coming out about how Ebola has been getting out of Africa. Let's see, expert warns panic over death of U.S. man in Nigeria is justified. He warned that the spread of Ebola could become a global pandemic. Health campaigners petition U.S. drug authorities to fast-track potential cure. Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond declares disease is a very serious threat. He will chair emergency meeting on how to boost defenses. But what all these stories are saying is that the Ebola virus has got out of Africa, and it's done so because it's made its way to Nigeria. And Nigeria has a lot of international flights, and what better way to distribute Ebola than through the airways? Let's see, man feverish symptoms tested for deadly Ebola at the Birmingham Hospital in Great Britain. He had traveled into the Midlands from Berlin, Nigeria via Air France when he felt ill. By the way, the symptoms of Ebola are flu-like, so a lot of people just think, I'm getting a bout of the flu, no worries. And let's see here. I wanted to tell you, okay, now, Ebola, I'm trying to remember the three countries. They're actually, I can't even remember. One's Ghana, and that's the other thing too. Oh, Sierra Leone, that's in Africa, is another one of the countries. Guyana, and I can't remember the third one right off the top of my head, but one thing I can tell you, there's a lot of reports from a lot of various media outlets that it looks like the Ebola has actually gotten out of Africa, and that really is the bottom line. And here's a picture of that reporter who was on the jet going to Britain, and I mean, he has a mask on, he has to have glasses on, you know, he has to make sure he doesn't have any kind of contact from his mucous membranes with anyone else. Otherwise, that's how you get Ebola. And what Ebola does, from what I can understand, is that it just gets inside your plumbing in your guts, and it just tears them apart. You know, what happens is you get kind of sick, and then the next thing you know, your body just starts breaking down. Now, here is a United Kingdom confidant, and he's talking about what is happening with the Ebola virus and the possibility that it may have gotten out of Nigeria, out of Africa, and possibly into other European countries, and maybe even to the United States. All right, it doesn't look like this story is going to set up for us out of Britain. It says your video will begin shortly. All right, welcome to the Trailer Park Prophet, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Crestone, Colorado on Blog Talk Radio. Let's see here. All right, I don't think this story is going to actually get going, so I'm going to just kill it because there's a couple other stories I'd like to get to before the end of the program. And here again, oh, good God, you won't believe this. So here's another story I have, and this is from Survival Pack. You can find it on my Facebook page if you want more information. But we actually have Ebola detection kits deployed to the National Guard units in all 50 states. And it shows this Army-type vehicle, and, you know, it has these sniffers. And so now the United States, all 50 states, according to this article, are out there sniffing for Ebola. And I wonder if they have them on the border. I mean, we've talked about the possibility that our enemies would use these illegal immigrants to go across our southern border and make sure that they're all sick with Ebola or any other the terrible type of diseases that are communicable through humans. I'm trying to think of another one real fast, but I mean, just the fact, I learned this today, that our government has Ebola detectors, sniffing kits. Jesus Christ, that means there's a lot more that we don't know about. And here, God, I don't know why we had a big Sheila Jackson day. She says Obama must grant amnesty because the GOP is opposed to it. While appearing on MSNBC News Nation with Tamara Hall on Tuesday, Representative Sheila Jackson. Let's see if we have a video. Do we have time for that? We got 8 minutes. Yeah, I like to hear her. I mean, she's an interesting lady, man. I love her affect. I love her animation. And, of course, what she says is just out of this world. Saying we ought to grant amnesty just because the Republicans are opposed to it. I mean, what kind of motivation is that? I mean, you would think the motivation should be that it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to be sticking your finger in the eye of your opposition, but that's what Sheila Jackson Lee said. And I thought I had a video, but I don't, so we're going to move on here. I don't want to waste any more time on Sheila Jackson Lee. Oh, I'm glad we got to this story. And that is, this is breaking news. Obama abandons Israel at UN Security Council. Now, I read this article from Red Flag News. It didn't have a lot of details. And it's my understanding that this is what's happening as we live and breathe, that the United Nations Security Council, that's like our U.S. Senate, has been in session, and you could always count on the United States, because they're a permanent member of the UN Security Council, to veto any measure that comes from the radical Islamic element in the UN. And now it looks like for the first time in the history of the United Nations that the U.S. does not have Israel's back in the United Nations Security Council. Now, I don't have a lot of details. We'll have more details for you on Friday, but this is a breaking story. And if it turns out the headline doesn't support the reality in the next few days, of course, I'll be there to tell you I screwed up. But at any rate, that's the breaking story. Let's see here. Oh, major scandal. We were talking about this 3 weeks ago. This is from Red Flag News. And Obama is exposed because the Obama administration has bankrolled Catholic and Baptist churches. And I can't believe we are so far ahead of the curve. And what this proves is that the Obama administration knew that this is a manufactured issue with all these kids coming over the border. They knew that they were going to come over the border, and the administration went out in 2010 and solicited contracts and gave money to the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, other organizations to provide food, comfort, clothing to this invasion of people that was coming over the border. They were doing this back in 2010. I mean, that's just amazing. Another story about Obama yelling at Netanyahu on the telephone. We reported on this. Here's what a Muslim tells his fellow jihadist, that if they go and blow up some Christians, kill some Christians, that every Muslim man gets... Okay, here, I've done this before. I want to do this again. Oh, wait, no, maybe I better not. I only got 2 minutes. I'll do that on Friday. Alright, maybe I do want to do this. Do I want to do this? Don't I want to do this? No, I'm not going to do this story. I did this once before, but basically, this is a radical Islamist who is telling people that if you kill Christians, that you're going to get any kind of woman you want. You're going to get 70 servant women's. These servant girls will do whatever you want them to do. That's after you get to paradise, after you get to heaven. So if you're a suicide bomber, you're going to go to heaven, you're going to have all these women, you're going to get 70 black-eyed virgins with whom you are allowed to have sex. Each of these 70 virgins comes with 70 attendants. You're going to have sex with them. How many women do you get? Now, let's assume that you are married to 4 wives, each of whom comes with 70 black-eyed virgins, and each virgin comes with 70 servant virgins. How many does it come to? God help you. And your reunion with your wife lasts for 70 earthly years, and then you can get rid of her. Another black-eyed virgin calls you from above. O servant of Allah, don't we get a piece of you? You turn to her and you see that she is with the more beautiful woman. You ask her, who are you? And she says, I'm your virgin in paradise. Allah told you about me, saying there are more of them with us. I am one.
90 seconds.
Alright, enough of Islam. Those people are crazy. But, I mean, here he is. He's preaching in front of these young Islamic men, encourage them to become suicide bombers, and he's promised them a life in heaven with a bunch of virgins. You know, I mean, you can't get any weirder than radical Islam. I mean, go ahead, kill yourself in this life, and we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you in the afterlife. I mean, what a promise. I mean, it's brilliant, really. You think about it, a lot of these people in these Muslim countries, they're just crazy poor, and any promise from somebody that is involved with the Islamic Church that there might be paradise after this life sounds pretty appealing if you're living in the dirt in some Islamic country. Alright, everybody, drizzle, drazzle, drizzle, drone. Time for this prophet to go home. We'll see you on Friday. Loco Friday. Thanks a lot for being here. You know I appreciate it.
10 seconds.